you can't violate anyone's boundaries. You need to have a really good empathy and a really good sense of self-awareness to navigate that line.
Man, it's like good enough, so you gotta be great, and I'ma do whatever it takes, doing what I love in life, and I'll pay the price, and not stopping even if the shit kills me, even if it kills me.
Hi everyone, and welcome to MattGron Talks. This is episode 103, and my name is Mattias Gronborg, aka MattGron, and I'm the founder of the HubSpot agency iGoMoon. And here I'm sharing my scaling up journey, building the company from nothing to something. And of course, as usual, with me, the one and only Svea Malina Landshoff. How are you doing, Svea?
Amazing as always. As you can see, I'm still home in Flensburg. And I also just today upgraded my microphone. I don't know if you can hear it. It's the first test because at home I have a good one, but traveling I always have the small clip on and it's really not that great. So I thought also when I'm traveling, I want to give the best quality to everyone watching. So I hope that's good now. We'll try. Otherwise I have to adjust the settings, but I think that's pretty good. All right. So also welcome to MattGron Talks from Flensburg in Germany from my side here. And this is where entrepreneurship runs smack into reality, because we talk a lot about that. We actually have a framework because we have 3 episodes per week. Do you want to share what we talk about?
Yes, I can. And yes, welcome to all the newcomers. And we have a framework here. And every Monday, I share about my personal development journey, growing as a human being and a leader. And every Wednesday, I share things I'm learning in the entrepreneurial process. So there's a lot of scale-up topics there every Wednesday. And then we also, every Friday, we talk about my weekly self-inventory when I share about things that I could have done different, stuff I learned, and also we are celebrating the victories, all the good things happening during the week. So, but you, Svea, you
I say it is your diary. Yeah. So, and Fridays, he not only talks about the things he just said, but actually he also talks about his week in general and things that have been going on, things that are stuck in his head. So that's always interesting. But today it's our Monday episode. And like you said, we talk about leadership, self-development, all things related to that. And we have talked about leadership before a lot. But today I want to talk about how much you can actually learn or teach yourself to be a good leader and how much you actually just have to learn by doing it. So my first question is, how much did you base your leadership style on actual things that you learned, like reading books, listening to podcasts, things like this? And how much was it actually your own personality and beliefs?
I think there's... like always a mix. It's it's like business in general. It's not a chess game. It's more like a round of boxing. And so study do teach. And I definitely think that leadership is something that you can learn and develop over time.
Yeah.
And
when you were, I guess you were preparing for your role as a leader, when you knew you wanted to build this new company and scale it up, can you tell us how much you actually prepared for your role as a leader?
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay. Did you?
Yeah, like I have never, it was not like a period when I prepared to be a leader. I think first thing is, do you see yourself as a leader? Because I think that's the first step. You really, if you see yourself as a leader, you will start acting as a leader. And let me assure you, you will learn over time. And of course, as you say, if you are listening to podcasts or if you read books, or the more input you get at the same time when you practice it, of course, that will that will definitely improve your leadership results, or your sales results, or your entrepreneurial results. So yeah, that's my take. I have never, I never went to school and sat at a desk and prepared myself to become a leader.
Yeah. And then when you jump into the cold water, that's kind of how it sounds to me, that you just started doing it. But then I guess, over your journey, and maybe also in the beginning, you realize, okay, maybe this is something I need to look into, I need to learn more about. Maybe then in the beginning, not before you started, but in the beginning of your journey, what were some of the first things you looked into to improve yourself as a leader?
I think I'm at that point today. I'm, I'm, I don't want to talk in, past sense, because, like I always need to look at myself and improve. I mean, there are a number of aspects of leadership that require practice, obviously. But I mean, everything is not built around inborn personality traits. I mean, there's a lot of things you always need to practice. I mean, let's take communication as an example. I mean, we have been talking about that topic
a lot. Yeah.
A lot.
It comes up again and again.
Yeah, again and again. And I mean, you are not like, I mean, when are you a communication pro? I mean, you, as a human being, you work with human beings, so
there's always room for improvement, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, back then, when I say back then, you kind of, when you refer to when I'm, like early stage of my entrepreneurial journey, I had to fail then and fail over and over again, and even today I need to fail and fail over again. So
we talked about that before, that you also don't see these setbacks really as failures, but more as lessons. I think that's a good approach to things like that, because I think that applies onto all areas in life, that if you do something wrong, you do it better next time. And that would also be like my next question, we kind of touched already, but so how important do you think are these, I'm going to call them trial and error phases on your journey? Do you think they are in the end the most important thing to get where you are and become a better leader?
I mean, I think every person is different. I mean, like reading something, listening on podcasts, or maybe if you attend or even if you are just mirroring yourself in a conversation with a friend or a colleague, I mean, everyone is learning different. We have different learning styles. So but I mean, and I've been talking about that before, like self-awareness is so important. Like the skill like self-awareness, like when you are expressing yourself and you can see other people's reactions, and you think about, how did I say that? Could I have said it in a different way? And all the things and all the time you put into actually learn more about yourself, you will in that way learn more about other people. And because we are not so different in that way, find like, and for me, it has always been coming in different periods. There could be times when I've been reading a lot, and but I would probably say, like, we have been talking about this before. I think like over the last 5, 6, 7 years, I've been pretty much into execution rather than, spending too much time reading about things.
Yeah, so that
like,
would be...
but I came to a point also where like I felt that, okay, I need to do things,
Yeah.
I looked at myself in the mirror and said, okay, Jude, it's time to start do stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think it's obviously always a good idea to learn about things you want to learn about and things you want to do, of course. But I think you also can spend too much time on this and then be overwhelmed by all the information and don't really know what to do. Because I think also with leadership, I sometimes do my research on these episodes. I have a bit of background knowledge, and I've seen there are so many different leadership styles, and you should do this. No, you should do this. You should do this. That maybe if you consume too much of it, you don't even know what kind of leader do I want to be. So I think in that scenario, I think it's just, as we talked about so many times, it's just important to stay true to yourself and actually be authentic. We talked about authentic leadership, and I think that for me personally, I think also for you is the way. Why trying to take this specific leadership style if it just doesn't suit yourself or your personal beliefs? I think if these things don't go together, then you won't be a good leader, in my opinion.
Yeah, like, but you have been keep asking me for books a couple of times. Like on the topic, I still think so there is like 2 books I think is really good. But I think everything when it comes to leadership, first you must be able to lead yourself, right? And like very simple reading, and the 1 Minute Manager, I really recommend that book. Simple framework. That's something I've been using for years. But there's also a book, the 1 Minute Manager, with the topic self-leadership.
Okay.
That is also really good for like everyone to read, even if you don't have ambitions to become a leader, so to speak. It's more about leading yourself and get a better understanding how also people in a group actually could work together, and how we affect each other. So
that sounds like a good read. I will link both books down below down below if you're interested in checking them out. Yeah, thank you for mentioning those. Maybe that will help someone watching who's interested in that topic. So what is our takeaway here? So you think that like learning or like teaching yourself about leadership can work, but you also need to see yourself as a leader. And I think we said that before. You don't really... I think you need to be a person who is a leader. I think if you're just not someone who wants to be a leader, doesn't feel ready, I don't think you can be a leader then. I feel there are really some people who are just born for this. Like we talked about this behind the scenes. Me, for example, it's kind of funny because I'm someone who is also like, I can lead people if I have to, and I can be very like focused on a goal, but I'm more like an individual fighter in that sense. And I personally wouldn't like to be responsible for other people. And, like we said before, like it would make me very nervous if I knew every month I have to pay them salary, I have to pay the rent for this office, I have to be, responsible for all these things. In that sense, I'd rather do my own thing. So I know for myself that I would not be a good leader. And I think that's probably also something you just need to feel within yourself. Am I ready to be a leader? Do I want to be a leader? And then you can probably always feed in information, teach yourself, improve yourself over time. That's a long takeaway, but I think that's my takeaway for this episode.
Yeah, I think, I think you need to ask yourself, I think like, I think that, anyone has never asked me do you want to be a leader?
You decided that for yourself.
I have always, in one way, that's what I've been, you know, like that's my approach. So yeah, I'm that's, I just want to say that. And sometimes I meet people and they say, I want to grow and I want to become a leader. And okay, and then we might talk about you know, a role or something, and then they might say something, yeah, but I don't want to be a team leader. And then I of course, you know, I ask, okay, but you want to become a leader, but you don't, how can you become a
when
leader
you don't
without
lead
leading
people?
people?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
So get out there, put yourself in the situations, and I think a part of what you were sharing there is, you know, there is, of course, you can't be a people pleaser and still try to be a leader. You know, I think one of the toughest things as a leader is to be a person, and to be, you know, to be that person, have that voice, where you put people in a situation to actually challenge themselves, and you still do that with all the how should I say, respect and love that you still, I mean, because being a leader, you still need to you need to stay at there is boundaries when you're a leader, right? So you need to balance, and you can't violate anyone's, you know, boundaries. You need to have a really good empathy and a really good sense of self-awareness to navigate that line.
Yes, absolutely.
And that line is different depending on who you have in front of you.
Yeah.
Because if you have a person, you know, there, you know, because if you violate boundaries, you are actually destroying your ability to lead. Yeah.
That was so cinematic. Da, 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 and now I'm trying to come to the end. You know me, how I'm always trying to wrap up, and then it ends up like this.
Trying to wrap up, and I'm always
and then you can come with another thought, and it's really good usually. But
the thing is, that's typically how we work. And you know, I'm a slow starter, and you have in your mind that this is going to take 10-15 minutes. But the problem is, after 10-15 minutes,
you warmed up.
You know, I'm warmed up. Exactly. Then I get all the ideas. Okay. I understand. It's time to wrap up.
But you know what? We have so many episodes in front of us. We can just pick it up another time. But thank you for today, and everyone watching, thank you as well. And as always, if you like what we're doing, maybe you want to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Also, as always, leave a comment if you like, if you want to know something. We're happy to hear from you.
Yeah. Hit the bell. See you on Wednesday.
See you on Wednesday.
Thanks.
Bye.